YouTube. And I'm back at the house. So, what's in the box and what's in the bag? Well, in the box. I know what's in the box. But this is, I was just in seeing the Blitzkrieg shop. So now we have, let's just fold them all into one big lump. Mad Malco t-shirts. I will need to sort them out and find out what sizes I ended up buying. I think most of them were XL and L. I think there might be some M's in here. So it's got the car. These are the ones that were meant to say Mad Malco guitars, but I kind of didn't emphasise it enough. The white, green, and I think there's a pink or orange. And orange. So quite cool. So I'll need to see what I'm doing with them. Probably selling them off quite cheap. If anyone's after a Mad Malco t-shirt, a special limited edition run misprint one, which will be super rare. There's only 20 of them exist. The ones I get next will be, they're all black as well. When I filled in the form thing, or I said what I wanted, I said I want like some red ones and some green ones, and he gave me black t-shirts with red writing and green writing, as opposed to, I was thinking you'd like a red t-shirt with white writing on it, but that didn't happen. So this is the guitar that I got in the, this is from one of the guys that works in Blitzkrieg. He wasn't there today. This is a sort of interesting guitar, called it a partscaster. So 2P90s, a very nice piece of wood. I'm not really sure what kind of wood this is. It might be Pau Ferru or something like that. It's a sort of chocolatey brown. 2P90s, which don't match. They've got a slightly different cover on them, but I noticed these things. It's got a wooden cavity cover, which I've never seen anyone do apart from Washburn, so it might be quite expensive. This neck looks very much to me like the ones I was buying in China. The sort of modern, very orangey, glossy ones. Really good, but not really expensive. Yeah. And my favourite type of bridge, which is the same bridge that I've got on my double neck up on the wall up there. It's kinda not unlike a Washburn harmonic lock, apart from without the locks on it. It's a sort of similar sort of thing, through strung. Yeah, so basically the wiring's kaput. The output jack, which always happens with these things, which is kind of what I thought I was expecting to be wrong with it. The output jack wasn't tightened up properly. So what happens when that happens is it's the same what happens with pots. When it's not tightened up, it spins, and then once it's spun around a couple of times, one of the wires get pulled off. So I connected up the wire, and the guitar was back to now making a noise again, but it's the knobs don't do anything really. So if I turn it on, I'll see. It's kind of difficult when you're in a shop not being able to play something. To actually check, make sure. I'm going to do a double check sure it definitely doesn't work. It was miles out of tune as well. Yeah, C sharp, I don't want that. Strings on backwards. Intonation's miles out. Yeah, I kind of suspect. That knob just spins. Yeah. So that's the volume control, which does nothing until you get to 1, and then it just turns it off. Pickup. Volume control, which basically goes nothing, 10, and then nothing, all then just stays at 10 all the way up. Well, that tone's working. Alright, okay, the tones work. I didn't. They didn't seem to be working in the shop. They appear to work now. But I'm thinking, the volume control doesn't do anything, but that seems very thin. It's nothing like staying in tune. So I apologise the other day for leaving the video with warts and all in it. A couple of folks said they quite liked it, so this will show you. This is basically everything I'm doing. I'm not sure that bridge pickups. See, I think what's happened is someone sort of got whoever it was wired it didn't know how to solder. So see when you hold, I do think that's out of phase though. It's louder in the bridge position and the neck position, and then in the middle position it's dead quiet. So I reckon one of these pickups is backwards, which I don't imagine the owner wants. Yeah, it's definitely phased. But it doesn't seem to have a great contact. Sometimes it doesn't seem to switch. It's alright. That one's out. So's that one. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really that good at telling. If it sounds pure horrible, then it's wrong, as opposed to I don't really know when it sounds right. The only way I would say that it sounds right when you do that is, and it doesn't sound pure horrible, then it's right. You know, it never really sounds. You just, a wee bit sharp. That one's alright. But these ones, I immediately want to bend the string up a bit to make it the same note. So doing the intonation, it'll be, I want to make that note. Well, the way I do it is you move it further away to make it flatter. So I want it sharper. So I want to move these saddles closer to the headstock. But I'm not quite at that stage yet. I think I'm just going to take the back off this. I might just pause this just now and take the back off, and then I'll be back in 2 seconds. Right, so I'm back, and also I realised I wasn't wearing a Mad Malcolm t-shirt, since I've got a whole box of new ones. Here is the new, this is an XL, because I'm pretty fat. So there's XL, if you're the same size as me, there's XL. I might be able to specifically order in bigger ones. I don't know how high they go, and I suppose smaller ones as well. I think partly the expensive bit was getting the print set up for some reason, and it's like, it's not the right print, it still needs to be altered to say guitars and below it as well, so I'll see. I think that was kind of like a one-off purchase, so I think maybe since I've just bought 20 t-shirts off the guy, maybe a bit more into it. Yeah, so what's wrong with this knob immediately is this one just spins because yeah, so it's just like a metal sleeve on top of a plastic knob. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, maybe not quite just now, but I'm going to put a blob of super glue on the top of that, which will just stop it, which means that the actual knob won't spin on the plastic knob that it's sort of sitting on top of. It's maybe sitting a bit low, kind of rubbing against the body of the guitar, which is probably why it came off in the first place. So I'm just going to flip this upside down and then take it to bits. So I've put a cloth down on my stool since it's not my guitar, it normally borrows mine. I need a wee boxy thing of some description, that'll do it. To put the screws in. And I might even be a little bit adventurous here, whether it's going to work or not. No, I'm going to take a wee bit of a video with the GoPro and then stick it in. So the audio might change quite significantly for a short while. While I put this in, I'll just stitch it into the. Oh, I need Stanley blade to open this. I do like the wooden truss rod cover, wooden cavity cover. Nice solid thick piece of wood as well. That's cool. Yeah, so where's the GoPro? I can actually see the viewfinder now. Right, I now know where the mic is in this, so I'll try not to talk into it. So whether I manage to keep the audio in sync or not is anyone's guess. So here we are inside the guitar. The lighting's probably not that good, but this connection here, it's very messy looking. There's a lot of the wires are very long, a lot of extra wires, and I've actually went in and cleaned up a couple of things. But if you just look at the edges of all the wires, they're all a bit sort of melted and stuff. Whoever it is, he's bought a pre-made, a pre-wired set, because that's not been soldered on by the same person. The two tone controls, which both work. Is this one here he's put this on, which I think is meant to act as a treble bleed. This thing here, but it doesn't appear to be. So I'm just going to cut this off now. Whether I can be bothered stitching it in or not, I don't know. I don't know how much you can actually see. So I'm basically just going to take the wires off and put them on in the right order. There's a few bits I don't like. This is like there's sort of bits of wire taped together, and I just feel that I don't know what's inside there. So I mean, a lot of these wires could be, well, you know, it's like you shouldn't be able to just pull wires off things. I wonder what that was, what that wire was meant to be. It appears to be a wire. Who knows? Who knows? Basically, it's getting. I'll leave the tone controls connected up. And there's also an extension onto the jack socket, and there's plenty of wire on that going to the jack socket. So I'll probably redo that one as well. Just take the jack socket off. So I'll probably. The thing is, I'm going to be doing this anyway, so I might as well talk while I'm doing it. It's like everything seems to be working. Well, the volume controls, neither of them work, but I get the feeling it's because of this. What I believe is meant to be a treble bleed circuit. I don't like treble bleed circuits. I would rather not have one. But it's not my guitar, so I will leave it in. Basically, what that does is it means when you turn the volume down, you'll notice me do it a bit. I tend to turn, if I want, I can have it so that it's a very different sound when you've got a normal volume control at 10 than you do at 9. If you've got really expensive pickups, they've kind of got what seems like a boost between 9 and 10, and it's a completely different sound, all different harmonic registers and stuff. So when you pull the volume control back, the volume control itself takes away a bit of the treble, so it's kind of like almost having a tone control as well built into it. Whereas if you put a treble bleed circuit on properly, it means when you turn it down, it doesn't. The sound stays, all the treble stays there. Hence the treble bleed thing. But yeah, I'm just assuming that behind these bits of tape, it's going to be not tied in wires, and it's like I'm really going to eliminate all these things. I've got a funny feeling that the switch might be melted, because that's one of the things. If you don't know how to solder, you end up holding the tape that's been on for ages is minging. Aye, the wires are just twisted together and not soldered at all. So I can't. I'm not letting the guitar go with that kind of stuff going on inside it. Yeah, you don't get a connection. You don't get a good connection unless you solder it. That's just wires twisted together. Yeah. So I'll probably just if I just pull them, they just come apart. Yeah. See, these things. Yeah. I'm tempted just to actually, as the soldering iron heated up, I'm just going to take off all the wires and make them all look good again. They're all, everyone's just melted and a bit mangled and probably been on and off half a dozen times. There's plenty of room left on it just to, if I just completely strip it off and then work out what it is that I've actually got at the end. But I do reckon that one of the pickups was reversed. I don't think it's meant to be that way. I can't. The phase reverse thing, I can put that on a switch to make it do that intentionally, but I don't think that that's what's intended. I think it's a mistake. Yeah, see what's happened is when you've got like these the coaxial wires where it's like a centre, centrepiece. Like in the case of this one, which you probably can't see because it's too wee, there's like a wee white wire, and then it's wrapped round with the shielding wire around the outside. Well, what happens is the wee white wire there has been melted through, so some of that wee internal wire was actually touching the outside wire, so this was only letting a partial signal through, whatever this cable was, the output signal. Yeah, so lots of little bits like that. I'm imagining that's an earth. I'm just taking everything off and then seeing what it is I've got, and I'll probably cut some of these wires to length because they're very long. But yeah, I mean, so these wires are some of them are twisted on, and some of them are soldered on, sort of. Yeah. And you know, some of them I can keep that. I can survive that. So what do we have? What do we have? This wire here that's been extended with 2 wires as well, so I'm going to have to take this one to bits to see what it is it's meant to be. Every bad connection though, just try and work my way back, and hopefully this guy's going to get a guitar back that not only works, but works significantly better than it did before it broke, before the output jack came off. I can't really see it being much worse. It reeks a little bit of someone just sticking wires on and then seeing until it makes a sound. Yeah, it's like that. We'll see what happens. I'll find out why there's 2 wires going into this one wire once I've taken off. The guy had obviously been to the pound shop and bought different colours of tape. But so far off this one connection I've pulled off white, blue, now red, and they're still black to go. Yes, I mean these wires are just falling off. I'm surprised it was letting anything through. So that weak bridge pickup, I'd imagine, is what this is. Yeah, so I mean, I am literally going to cut the ends off these. So what do we have coming out of there? We've got that is he's like putting his tape around these things as well. These treble bleed circuits, which I'm going to just take off completely and then put them back on again. It's just a mess. Just a mess. One. Yeah, so that's what they call a treble bleed. I don't like that either. That's that. Yeah. At least there's plenty of room left in all these wires. I'm not going to have to use any of my own wires. There's a connection that was actually all right. Not anymore. This one. This one doesn't look as bad. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Coming off. Getting redone. I think the treble bleeds have been put on in the wrong place, which is why they were basically bypassing the volume control. Oh, and this one's actually just it's just wrapped around the. It's just wrapped around the terminal. It's not even soldered. Like this treble bleedy thing. Some people love the treble bleeds, so not for me. Maybe if you're using like like modelling stuff or digital amps or something like that, maybe it's a bit more use. But I kind of use the different sounds. How the heck am I meant to get that off? It would have been easier just getting a guitar that didn't have any things on it at all and just starting from scratch. It's basically what we're doing now. They obviously didn't have us. Whoever tried to put these kits on didn't have a soldering iron, or maybe get charged tons of money for using it. I can't get it. I actually, these are not actually onto the terminals, they're just kind of poke through the holes of the assembly of the pot. Right, okay, I've just broken that one, that's alright, I'll fix it though. And I will put these on neatly, because the problem with these as well is because they've got big long legs on them, see them there, if they touch anything hot they'll just short it out. So I think that was basically what's been happening here, which is why the volume controls weren't working, they were both just shorting out. Just reattach that there, it should work. So I'm tempted to actually make sure the guitar works first before I put these back in again. And it might even be an idea to do a bit of a demo of them, and then I could put them on, and I'll leave them in such a way that when the owner sees the video, he'll see what it's like with them on and with them off, and if he doesn't like them, you can just snip them off with pliers. Yeah, I'll leave them in that sort of range. Right, so there's, what do we have? Right, so there's tone control 1, tone control 2, out the way. Connect them up later, that'll be fine. I'm going to try and pull off some of the junk that's on this rhythm treble switch, which I thought was not working, but since having a look at it, some of the other connections, I'm maybe wondering if it was just an intermittent connection on one of the cables on it, rather than actually being the switch that's broken. I'll check it with the meter anyway. First I need to actually find what these wires are. I'm going to claim that one there is earth, so I'm going to snip the end off that, put a new connection on it, but it's just a single core, which leads me to believe it's going to be is it a single core? Makes me think it's probably earth, and I will check it with my multimeter to make sure that it is earth. Taking this end off, we'll see if it is actually. It's just a single core, yes. So probably an earth wire. And that other one, which looks like a single core, is probably just been so melted you can't see the other core. Putting the solder onto the wire. It's a fluxed wire, doesn't want to take the solder. Doesn't want to be soldered, this wire. Come on, stick to it, yeah. Right, I've had this before with wires. Sometimes it depends on what they're made of, or if they're too oxidised, you can't actually get the solder to stick to them. So if I can't get the solder to stick to this wire, basically I'm having to take the bridge off and put another earth wire in that's made of better looking metal. Just that you can kind of, sometimes some of these things are sometimes coated with stuff to make them so that they're not conductive. Sometimes you just got to melt that off. That's alright. That's alright. Right, where's the meter of multitudes? I need to change the battery in this. Right. So I'm going for, there should be, put it to resistance 20k, and between this and this string full it should be 0. It's not. So I wonder what this wire is. It's not connected there. I take it it's not connected to the strings. And so this wire is duff. It's McKaganed. I'm just going to double check it here and make sure it's not connected to anything. So the only thing I can really think, unless it's someone's been in modifying something else, is looking at the strings and the neck are going to have to come off this. This might not be a one video series. The earth wire is not connected. So it's going to have to get stripped down a little bit, and then I'm going to have to put another earth wire in. I think this being a sort of kit guitar, someone spent some time building the kit but not really knowing what they're doing when they're doing the rest of it. You know, the final parts. It's like not just buying the prettiest parts. And that tuner's wobbly. Yeah. So it's a lovely guitar, badly built basically. The strings run backwards. So I think I'm going to have to take this bridge off. These strings are horrible. I think they're just going to. He's just going to get new strings. Tony can charge him for them. It's not even going to be easy to take this bridge off either. It would be quite interesting to see. How long are we doing this for? 20 minutes? Okay. There's probably what, 15 minutes. Okay, okay. I'm just trying to work out whether it's whether I should be stopping this. Oh, it's really annoying. There definitely isn't another wire there. That's the bridge. What else could there be? There's only 3 wires coming out. No, there's an earth there. So why are there? Why is there 2? What are these 2 wires? I think the earth might actually already be on. I believe that's I've just noticed another black wire that's connected to this pot. So is that pot, the back of that pot there, connected to the ferrules? It is. Okay, so it's not the earth wire. So I think what's happened is 2 of these wires must be one of the pickups. They've cut the pickup really short or something like that, and then put 2 new wires on it. And they're both the same kind of wire, but is that stuff that soldering doesn't like sticking to? So if this is, these 2 unknown wires do give me a signal in the middle. It's a P90, so I'd be expecting what, 7 or 8K? Or 9K? 8.9. So that's what these are. That's why they put it on in reverse. Mistake. They must have cut the cable short. But I am just going to assume, because these cables aren't the original cables, that there's a connection on one of these pickups that's that's wire twisted together and sellotaped. So I'm not going to. I don't want to put that out. So I'm going to take this out. Why am I using this screwdriver? Does this one fit? Just to see which pickup it is. So the earth wire doesn't matter. That's fine. But I think one of these has been extended. Which is why there's a sort of funny thing coming out there. Pickup P90 is come out. You take out these 2 screws out the middle, and then the pickup sits on that. And there's our. Well, this is sitting on springs and foam, and it's been taped up. Yeah. So this pickup has been cut to that length at some point, and I'm going to bet that these 2 wires are just twisted on. So I'm just going to strip this off, and then I'll replace this wire with a better wire, basically. Yeah, they're just, you know, you can just pull them apart. So that's no good. That's no good. So I need to find. Or I could just use one of the wires that I took out that wasn't necessary. I don't know what this one did in there, but it didn't need to be that long. Whatever. So I'll be able to replace some other wires. This is quite a good sort of, because it's got the white, it's got the centre core and the outside core, so it's going to be nice and easy to connect this up. Again, am I going to have to... I'll probably get away with that. Again, what's happened here is the white shielding that's on the centre wire. You're never going to see that. I'm never going to zoom in on it, is it? No. The white shielding has basically been cut at the same time. So there's a gap. Although you've got the white shielding running along to there's a gap. And because there's a gap there, it's probably partially touching the other one, which is probably partially shutting out the signal from the guitar, which is not good. So I think I might just trim that and make it really nice and neat. Make it it won't look like someone's been in there messing about with it. That's just getting cut off, right? Off of that bit. Pull that out a wee bit. And then twist this. Bend this. So we'd probably have the helmet cam on with a GoPro on it for this, but right to there, and there to there. Off it. I'll just take my blade here and a bit at the end so I can actually get a good soldering connection on it. I can never get wire strippers to work properly. I think it'll do. So I'm now going to tin the two ends of this piece of wire. Then I'm going to look at my wee bag of heat shrink cabling. So these will not only be soldered together, so it'll be a good connection, which it wasn't before. They'll be heat shrinky cabled, so they'll look good. The problem when you're soldering these very thin wires is they do have a tendency to melt. So that's if you heat it up for too long. So that's what's happened. That's not really a good end, so it's a decent end. I'm going to do it properly there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get a very small piece of heat shrink cable to join these two wee outside bits together in my bag of heat shrink cable, which I'm actually going through at a fair rate now that I've got it. It's a great thing. Well worth having a look at just for. So I just need a wee. I've got lots of tiny little bags with lots of very different size bits. So if I just put a wee piece in, how big is that? Not big enough. Yeah. Just a wee bit of this. I'll put it on and then. Fit with this in better. Should have maybe put a slightly bigger piece on. I'm going to try a slightly wider bit. Whoop. Because that will go for both of these, won't it? Yay. Right, so now soldering on this wire onto the pickup properly. And there we go. So it'll be good. Then I'll slide this piece of red rubber over the top. quite ready to do it that way yet. I need to. How do I do this? How do I do this? Put a much smaller piece of that red rubber on. Yes. Talk to myself. Only way I'm guaranteed to get sensible conversation. So I got my new GoPro attachment to attach a GoPro to the headstock of a guitar. I'm going to try, if it's assuming the weather holds up, I might go out tomorrow and restring my resonator guitar, which I was going to do at that graveyard. There was a problem with the resonator strings. Yep, so there we go, we've got a wee bit of red on it. I can now heat shrink that up, so that's the centre core connected brilliantly. Made a little bit of a mess of the other bit, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to extend the wire with a piece I just cut off. Obviously I'm not going to tell anyone I've done this, it's very unprofessional, but it's what I'm doing. Use my forceps so there's less chance of me burning my fingers. Use it as a heat shield, heat sink, which is often a good idea if you're going to be spending any amount of time heating something up. Hold it with a pair of forceps or a pair of mole grips or something like that. It just dissipates the heat and stops the switches melting to quite the same degree. I'm just connecting the two outside bits now. That's good and solid. Yep, good and solid. If I just snip that to be the perfect length to do that. Just be right there. That's it, just talk amongst yourselves. Really enjoyed doing my live stream on Sunday there. It was good fun. Getting carried away. Someone mentioned you built up a community, and I thought that was very nice. I quite like that idea. Just a community filled with nice people, no nasty people. So we've totally fair, 99% of the people that I sell guitars to are really nice. Still get the occasional one on Gumtree or something like that, you know, they're just like, they're not a musician, they're not a guitarist, they're just a sort of, there's no passion in it. Utter bastard. Oh, there goes my not being able to put the caution in for the advert, so just remember I've now said a swear word. Although I did actually get one of these copyright get taken off it pending in possible use of bad language. I don't know what they were on about. Because the YouTube algorithm can't understand what I'm saying anyways. How's it know I'm swearing? The chances are whatever word it picked up was not the word I said. I don't start every video with "Hello Egypt." Not against Egypt. I just that's not what I say at the start of the videos. That's what the subtitles think I say. Hello Egypt. I'll just leave that on, and I'll get another slightly thicker piece of this in some colour. Not going to be big enough to do it? Yeah. I'll just slide that over there. You would never know that this was modified. Is that a good connection? It is. So it's that one. Right. And there we go. In fact, if I slide that down there, it can be a little bit sneakier. Yep, and it's not. I'm not sure the untrained eye would ever know anything altered in this. Right, so now I've got a P90 with an extended wire that's long enough to reach into the back of the guitar. Now if I take out the bridge one with a screwdriver, one I used before. And I am totally going to assume that this guitar wasn't meant to be out of phase. I think that's quite a safe bet. Get those nasty wires out. Probably put them in the bin. These, to me, look like wires someone's found. They look very old. I wonder if they're maybe from their old car or something like that. Not really what we want to be using. Ideally, I have just slightly better ones. Right, to make that stick through, I'm just going to cut the end off that, so it's just a. It wasn't a very good connection anyway. Right, so if I poke that into the hole that came out of, normally on these things it goes through into the bridge cavity first. I'll pull that through. Put this back in. Sure what that piece of rubber's for. I won't throw it out yet. Probably just a case of trying to line up these screws now, which are probably not going to want to go in. I could actually cut the scratch plate a little bit neater, but it's not my guitar, so that's alright. That's alright. I've just realised what I haven't done is I'm just going to assume it's going to work. Should really have checked that there was a signal coming through that wire to make sure my connections were good, but they look pretty good, so I'm pretty sure they are okay. If not, I'll take them out again. Too bad. It's a very pretty Tele, and I do like the overly orange Chinese necks. I've actually still got a couple of them sitting waiting for me in China, because when I tried to bring back too many guitars, including one of them being that bloody rosewood George Harrison caster, which weighs twice the same as twice any other guitar, because that was in my bag was overweight, and the guy wouldn't let me pay extra. There was no option to pay extra for it. I just had to take things out, and luckily Civet had gone to the toilet. And I managed to hail her back. It's like right here, and so she's just standing, and I'm like taking stuff out my bag. It was like out came one of the canvas guitars. It's like nope, still too much. The neck for the canvas guitar, and then a couple of strap necks, and I got it down to. I can't remember what I got it down to. I think it was 50. I think my maximum I was allowed was 50, and I was up at 70 something. And the guy's like, no, you can't have that. And then as soon as I got it down to 56 or 50 something. He let me through, so that was alright. But the moral of the story is I do have at least two necks very similar to this. They're strap necks that I got from the Ashton factory outlet store thing, their main office. It was the only actual guitar-y place I actually really went to when I was in China. Just make sure you're doing the right thing. Go into the centre, that didn't say that. Right, so the tone pots look alright. It's got a CTS pot as the main, as the neck volume, but it seems a bit wobbly. A lot of problems with guitars is that people don't tighten up the bolts that hold the tops on, so they inevitably start twisting a bit, and once they start moving, they continue moving, and then how am I going to get this off? Maybe it's alright. That's the one that needs glued. Maybe it's alright, I don't want to damage this top. It just seemed a bit wibbly in the back. Yeah, it's too wibbly. I'm going to have to use my specialised prying technique. So I need this, and I need something to stop it marking the top. Something like a pick would probably do it. I'm fully expecting this to just take off that. Oh, it didn't work. And then just tighten up so it doesn't spin. I would normally use my socket set, but this adjustable spanner just happens to be sitting here. It's still wibbly wobbly. No, it's rock solid. Right, that's good. Right, so now we know that the blue wire is the neck pickup and the black wire is the bridge pickup. Again, I'm just going to snip the end off the pickup. The bridge one, just start afresh, so it's nicer. It'll look better. And as I said, I'm not going to put I'm going to wire this up nice and easily. Okay, I made a mess of that. Using too sharp a styling knife blade. The thing is, you've got to remember when you're taking the ends off the when you're using these coaxial cables, if you use too sharp a styling blade, you cut through the black plastic. In this case, black plastic, and then you also cut through the shielding wire, so you end up only having half the shielding wire left by the time you pull it off. So you need to be a little bit gentler. That's fine. So I've got my shielding wire around the outside, and I've got my white bit in the middle, which is the core, which is going to go on to lug 3 of the. This is the bridge one, onto the small pot there. The lugs are numbered 1, 2 and 3 when you're looking at them from above, but we're looking at them from below, so they go 3, 2, 1. Yeah. And you want the volume control goes to the outside one, which would be lug 3. No, sorry, the lug 3 is on the volume control, it's where you put the pickup. I'm just going to put the back of the shielding here is going onto the back of the pot, and the centre bit is going to lug 3, or the far left one when you're looking at an upside down pot, and then the far right one, which is lug 1, just gets earthed. So you'll see on a lot of volume controls that's just either connected with a wee bit of wire, or the actual lug is actually bent up onto the back of the pot, and then the middle one being lug 2 is the output. Just still quite a big, quite an oversized wire, but I'm going to leave it in anyway. I'm just going to connect this onto the outside lug 3 on the treble, yes. Bridge pickup, and then solder the back of it on there. Should probably have cut a little bit more wire off that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to poke it out the way so it doesn't interfere with anything. Right. That's the bridge pickup connected. And then I'm going to do the same with the neck pickup. It's really, I'm just going to, if I need to cut the end of it anyway, I'm just going to cut this so it's not 6 inches too long. Try and leave it so it's like that. And this will be the same as that other wire, so I'll just be very careful when I cut the outside. I don't cut the wires on the inside as well at the same time. Once the summer comes in, I'm going to get I'll get set up in the garage. I'll finally tidy out the garage a little bit, so I can actually, it's not just full of lawnmowers and painted things. So I can do this sort of stuff. I mean, the reason I kind of like doing the stuff sitting here rather than in the garage when I'm doing, obviously the more messy work is, I've got a Tele, I can just sit and watch telly or watch YouTube or listen to records, which is, to be fair, I'm not actually doing. What I'm doing is actually sitting making this into a video just because. Because I would be doing this anyway. Probably listening to Judas Priest. Going through a wee bit of a Judas Priest phase just now. Really are rather good. I never really had listened to them when I was younger. Judas Priest, they kind of slipped by me somehow. Right. This CTS pot does not have very much solder in the back of it because whoever it was that soldered it didn't scratch the back of the pot first. So I'm going to give it a bit of a scratch here so I can get solder to stick to it. I'm going to resolder the back of the pot. This is a CTS. In California Telephone Service. Just where Leo Fender got the electrics for his original guitars. And people just like to use them because, oh, CTS pots, they must be great. No, they just happen to be the ones that were local to where Leo Fender wanted to was building guitars. Oh, it's getting a bit hot, so I might have to take a bit of a break.